Imagine coming home to find your wife bruised and bleeding on the front steps, courtesy of three HOA goons who think they're the kings of suburbia. They laughed it off, calling it community education, but they had no clue they'd just poked a sleeping giant. Me? I'm Alex Thompson, the mild-mannered history teacher everyone in Willow Creek, Arizona, knows as the guy who coaches Little League and waves at joggers, until these power-tripping clowns decided to play dirty. It started innocently enough, or so it seemed in this cookie-cutter neighborhood where the air smells like fresh-cut grass and unspoken resentments. My wife, Sarah, a sweet kindergarten aide, was planting daisies in our front yard when the black SUV rolled up like a bad omen. Out stepped Tony Russo, the HOA enforcement chief, flanked by his two lackeys, Chad and Mike. Picture a trio of middle-aged men in matching polo shirts, armed with tablets and egos bigger than their beer guts. "Ma'am, that fence is 6 inches over regulation," Tony drawled, his voice dripping with fake politeness, like he was doing her a favor. Sarah blinked, confused. "But we measured it last year. It's exactly to code." Tony's smile turned oily. "Codes evolve, dear. Like how some wives learn to stay out of men's business." When she politely asked them to wait for me, Chad smirked. "Waiting's for losers. Step aside, or we'll note you as uncooperative." Mike chuckled. "Yeah, uncooperative types tend to trip over their own feet." Before she could react, Tony grabbed her arm, yanking hard. "Respect the process," he snarled, shoving her backward. She tumbled down the steps, scraping her knees and temple on the concrete. They snapped photos of her sprawled there, Tony muttering, "Evidence of resistance." "Classic." Then they drove off, leaving her dazed and humiliated. I got the call mid-lecture on the American Revolution. Ironic, right? Sarah's voice trembled. "Alex, they pushed me. Said our fence violated some new standard, and I was being difficult." My hands shook as I raced home, finding her icing bruises, her eyes puffy from tears. "They treated me like trash," she whispered. Tony said next time I'd learn proper community manners. Neighbors whispered rumors already. Heard the Thompsons are troublemakers, fence rebels, or something. I bit my tongue, playing the concerned hubby. But inside, my old Navy SEAL instincts kicked in. 14 years of covert ops had taught me patience isn't weakness, it's a weapon. While Tony paraded around like suburbia's sheriff, manipulating the neighborhood Facebook group with posts about upholding standards for everyone's benefit, I started digging. Quietly. The escalation hit like a freight train. 2 days later, they returned unannounced, Tony banging on the door. "Thompson, open up for inspection." I stepped out, calm as a cucumber. "Gentlemen, let's discuss this rationally." Tony puffed up, invading my space. "Rational? Your wife's little stunt cost us time. Now it's a $500 fine for obstruction. Pay up or face liens." Chad sneered. "Heard you're some history nerd. Stick to books. Teach. Real men handle enforcement." Mike added, "Yeah. And keep the missus in line. Some ladies need reminders." Their threats dripped with that faux moral BS. "It's for the greater good, property values." "You know," I nodded meekly. But that night, I hacked their emails, old skills die hard, and uncovered the scam. Fake violations to extort fines, funneling cash to Tony's pocket via consulting fees. Neighbors confided horrors, elderly misses Patel fined for wrong shade of curtains, single mom harassed until she sold cheap. Tony's posts online, pure theater, proud to keep Willow Creek pristine, community first, hypocrite. Friday's follow-up was their big show, 4 thugs now, including Beefy Derek, Tony's muscle. They strutted up, Derek cracking knuckles. "Heard you're playing lawyer. Teacher boy. Time for recess to end." Tony grinned. "Your wife's education was just the start. Cooperate, or things get Educational for you too. I invited them in. All smiles. Coffee. Fellas. As they blustered about authority, I played the recording I'd captured, Tony admitting on tape to fabricating charges. Their faces drained. That's out of context, Tony stammered. Sweat beading. Derek lunged, but I sidestepped like in training, sending him crashing into the coffee table. Chaos erupted. They scrambled, spewing excuses. It's for order. You don't understand. But I'd already tipped off the cops and the state attorney. Sirens wailed as badges flashed. Arrest for assault. Fraud. Extortion. Tony's mask cracked. I was protecting the neighborhood. Yeah. From what? Decent folks like us? 6 months on. Willow Creek breathes easy. No more absurd rules. Real community now. Tony's doing time. His empire exposed as a greedy racket. Sarah's bruises healed. But the lesson sticks. Bullies in khakis are just as dangerous as any. Was it wrong for a quiet teacher to unleash his past on these HOA tyrants? Or did they deserve every bit of that sweet, ironic justice?